$2,076 a month. That is what the average Social Security check looks like in 2026. And after Medicare takes its cut, you are down to about $1,800 to cover your housing, your groceries, your utilities, your prescriptions, and whatever is left of a life you were told you earned. For millions of retirees, that math simply doesn't work anymore. Most people assume the answer is saving more money or hoping Congress changes something. But what if the real solution isn't a bigger Social Security check? What if it's moving somewhere your check actually goes further? Today, I'm showing you 8 towns across North and South Carolina where home prices are a fraction of the national average. Neither state taxes your Social Security benefits, and everyday living costs are far lower than what most retirees are paying today. One of these towns has a nationally recognized botanical garden that's home to all 8 species of swan. Another quietly became a food destination featured on PBS. And the #1 town has a move-in ready 3-bedroom home listed for less than many Americans still owe on their car. And here is why both Carolinas specifically. 3 forces are working in your favor here. First, the industries that built these towns, textiles, tobacco, railroads, either downsized or moved, which is exactly why the homes are priced the way they are. Second, both states exempt 100% of your Social Security from state income tax, and South Carolina's property tax rate for owner-occupied homes is among the lowest in the country. Third, a modest local economy means low prices on everything, and a retiree who is not competing for a paycheck benefits from that gap in a way a working-age buyer cannot. For retirees living on a fixed income, those 3 factors can completely change the math. Let's start with number 8, Sumter, South Carolina. Most people drive right past Sumter on their way to Charleston or Myrtle Beach. That is a mistake that saves the rest of us a lot of money. Sumter sits in the Midlands of South Carolina, about 45 minutes east of Columbia, with a population around 42,000. Shaw Air Force Base anchors the local economy, which means steady government jobs, a stable tax base, and streets that feel safer than most towns this size. The typical home value here sits around $165,000 according to Zillow, and cost of living runs about 12% below the national average. And right now on Zillow, there is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home at 302 Stuckey Street, 1,669 square feet on a corner lot, listed at $165,000. Move-in ready, about 10 minutes from Prisma Health Tuomi Hospital. If you want to spend even less, there is a 3-bedroom on East Charlotte Avenue listed at $155,000. Now, this is the town I mentioned in the intro, Swan Lake Iris Gardens. The only public park in the world with all 8 species of swan, 30 acres of cypress trees, walking paths, and blooming irises from late May through June. That is not a side attraction. That is a nationally recognized destination, and it is free, and it is right here. The Sumter Opera House still runs a full season of live performances. Patriot Park has a splash pad, a disc golf course, and a farmer's market every Saturday morning. The honest trade-off is summers. June through September, the heat and humidity will rearrange your schedule. But the other 8 months are mild, and for a retiree on a fixed income who wants real amenities without real city prices, Sumter delivers more than it advertises. The next town sits on a lake, costs even less, and has a hospital right in town. Number 7, Greenwood, South Carolina. There is a reason retirees keep quietly landing in Greenwood, and nobody outside South Carolina seems to notice. This is a lake town with a university, a full-service hospital, and home prices that most of the country stopped offering a decade ago. Greenwood sits in the upstate, population around 23,000. The typical home value is about $149,000 according to Zillow, and cost of living runs roughly 15% below the national average. Here is what that looks like on the ground. Right now there is a 3-bedroom home at 104 Richard Street, 960 square feet with a brand new roof, listed at just $99,900. If you want a full 2-bath, move-in 3-bedroom, those run closer to $175,000 here, like the well-kept home at 110 Ridgemont Court. Either way, in Greenville that money does not start a conversation. Here it buys a home. Lake Greenwood is the centerpiece. 9,400 acres of water surrounded by public parks and boat launches. The Festival of Flowers brings the whole town out every June. Lander University adds a campus feel without the college town chaos. Self-Regional Healthcare is a 209-bed hospital right in town and the largest employer in the county. The honest assessment is that Greenwood is not flashy. There is no beach, no mountain, no trendy downtown with craft cocktail bars. But if you want a paid-off house, a lake 5 minutes away, and a hospital you can reach before your coffee gets cold, this is the math that works. The next town sits in the North Carolina Sandhills, 45 minutes from some of the most famous golf courses in America, and costs even less. Number 6. Laurinburg, North Carolina. If you have heard of Pinehurst, you have heard of the golf capital of the world. What you have not heard is that 45 minutes south of those $100 greens there is a town where a solid brick home costs about half of what it would near the resort, and nobody is standing in line to tell you about it. Laurinburg is the seat of Scotland County, population around 15,000, sitting in the Sandhills region of North Carolina where the soil is sandy, the pines are tall, and the pace is deliberately slow. The cost of living runs well below the national average. Right now there is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom brick ranch at 437 North Caledonia Road, 1,145 square feet, listed at $125,000, move-in ready. If you want to go lower, a 3-bedroom on Elizabeth Drive is on the market at $119,000. St. Andrews University gives the town a small campus presence. Scotland Healthcare System handles medical needs locally. The John Blue House, a Gothic revival cotton plantation, hosts heritage festivals every October. The honest trade-off is isolation. Laurinburg is not next to anything famous. The nearest major city is Fayetteville, about 40 minutes north. But for a retiree who does not need to be near everything, that distance is the whole point. Your dollar stretches here because nobody is competing for it. And the next town might be the most surprising entry on this entire list. Number 5. Kinston, North Carolina. Most towns this size do not have a PBS series made about them. Kinston does, and it happened almost by accident. Chef Vivian Howard put this town on the map with her restaurant Chef and the Farmer, which became the centerpiece of a full PBS documentary series. That was over a decade ago, and the town never looked back. Today, the downtown has a concentration of locally owned restaurants, a craft brewery, and a cultural energy that towns 5 times this size cannot manufacture. The typical home value in Kinston is around $128,000, according to Zillow, though prices split sharply between the older core and the newer South Side. Right now, there is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home at 306 Wilson Avenue, nearly 1,900 square feet, in an established Kinston neighborhood, listed at $159,999. On $1,800 a month, a mortgage here runs under $700. That leaves over $1,000 for everything else. That is not a tight budget. That is a workable life. UNC Lenoir Healthcare is right in town. The Neuse River runs through, and a Civil War ironclad museum draws history visitors year-round. Kinston won the All-America City Award in 2009, which sounds like a small thing until you learn that only 10 cities in the entire country win it each year. The honest catch is that the job market outside healthcare and education is thin, and median household income runs around $35,000. But on a Social Security income, that is actually the point. You are not competing for jobs. You are benefiting from the low prices that a modest local economy creates. And for anyone who wants culture, food, and genuine character at a price that makes retirement math actually work, Kinston is hard to beat. The next town costs even less and comes with a plantation and a national forest. Number 4. Union, South Carolina. $84,900. That is not a typo. That is a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home at 209 O'Shield Street, right around 1,500 square feet, on a large lot within the city limits. Move-in ready. In most of the country, that number is a down payment. Here it is the whole transaction. Union is the county seat, population around 8,000, tucked into the upstate foothills about an hour southeast of Greenville. Cost of living runs roughly 18% below the national average. If you want a little more, a 3-bedroom with a fireplace on Circle Drive is on the market at $109,900. Most towns this affordable have a reason people leave. Union has a reason people stay. And it is sitting on 700 acres of formal gardens and forest called Rose Hill Plantation. The Sumter National Forest borders the county and offers hundreds of miles of trails, fishing access, and free recreation that never asks for a membership fee. Union Medical Center handles healthcare locally, and Spartanburg Regional is about 40 minutes north for a larger facility. Downtown Union has its original courthouse square, a handful of local restaurants, and a pace that does not pretend to be anything it is not. The honest assessment is that Union is small. If you need variety or a target within 10 minutes, this will frustrate you. But if the whole point is to own your home outright, walk to the post office, and spend your afternoons on a trail instead of in traffic, Union is one of the most underpriced towns in the entire Southeast. The next town has a college, a beautifully restored opera house, and a downtown that people drive an hour to walk through. Number 3. Newberry, South Carolina. Newberry is the counterintuitive entry on this list. The full 3-bedroom market has moved, but the cottage market has not. And for a single retiree, that gap is the whole story. Newberry sits in the Midlands, population around 10,000, about 45 minutes northwest of Columbia on Interstate 26. Full 3-bedroom homes now start close to $200,000, like the tidy 3-bedroom on Charles Street with a new metal roof at $199,900. That is real money. But right now there is a 2-bedroom home at 942 Gilder Street, about 1,000 square feet, in an established neighborhood minutes from the historic downtown, listed at $125,000. And a 2-bedroom on Jefferson Street is on the market for just $85,000. For a single retiree, or a couple who wants a charming cottage a short walk from live theater, that is the number that matters. Newberry College anchors the community. The Newberry Opera House, fully restored in 1998, stages national touring acts in a 1,200-seat venue that most small towns could never support. The hospital is in town. The downtown has local restaurants, a bookshop, and storefronts that have not been replaced by chains. Newberry is not the cheapest town on this list, but it might be the most livable per dollar for someone who wants to walk somewhere worth walking to. The next town is even cheaper, and the one after that will make you check the listing twice. Number 2. Bennettsville, South Carolina. Bennettsville is the seat of Marlborough County, and it is one of the most affordable small towns in the entire state. Population around 8,000. Quiet, established, and deeply rooted in a part of South Carolina that most retirees never think to look at. The typical home value sits around $112,000, with listings regularly appearing well below that. Cost of living runs well below the national average. Right now there is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home at 107 John Street, 1,500 square feet, listed at $95,000. Move-in ready. If you want updated flooring and a bit more polish, there is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath on Hickory Grove Road at $124,900. That same house in Charlotte would cost $350,000 and come with a bidding war. Here it comes with a front porch and a neighbor who waves. The Jennings Brown House is a local landmark. The Marlborough Civic Center hosts community events year-round. Interstate 95 runs just west of town, which means Myrtle Beach, Florence, and Fayetteville are all reachable day trips. McLeod Health facilities serve the broader region. The honest trade-off is that Bennettsville is rural. The entertainment options are limited, and the nearest major grocery chain requires a short drive. But for a cash buyer on Social Security, who wants to own a home outright and keep $1,500 a month in their pocket instead of handing it to a landlord, this is the kind of town that makes that possible. And now the final town on this list. Number 1. Dillon, South Carolina. $452 a year. That is your entire property tax bill. Read that number again. $452 for the whole year. Dillon is a railroad town in the PD region of South Carolina, right on Interstate 95, about 90 minutes north of Charleston and 30 minutes from the North Carolina border. Population around 6,500. The county median home price sits around $85,400, according to Kiplinger, making Dillon County one of the most affordable places to live in the entire state. Right now on the market there is an updated 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home at 700 South 3rd Avenue, about 1,430 square feet, in a quiet Dillon neighborhood, listed at $130,500. If you want brick, there is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath brick home on East Harrison Street at $159,900. McLeod Health Dillon handles healthcare right in town. Daily needs are covered without a long drive. The downtown still carries its railroad heritage, with the original depot area and a handful of local restaurants that have been open long enough to know your order. Dillon is not trying to be a destination. It is not trying to be trendy. It is a small southern town that kept its prices low while the rest of the country lost its mind, and for a retiree on Social Security who just wants to own a home and pay almost nothing in property taxes, Dillon is the math that finally works. In Charlotte, $130,000 is a down payment. In Dillon, it is the whole house, the yard, and the keys in your hand. Whether you are planning ahead, running the numbers, or just tired of watching your check disappear before the month does, I hope this list gave you something to work with. Those are 8 Carolina towns where a real retirement on Social Security is not a fantasy. It is just a zip code nobody told you about. If this helped you, subscribe. I cover towns like this every single week across the Carolinas, Florida, and the rest of the country. Drop a comment and tell me which town you would actually move to. I read every one. We will see you in the next one.